Hey guys, so in this video, we're gonna talk about how we live a very healthy lifestyle and how we turn that into a business so that it can help you thrive in every component of your life. So I think growing up, both of us were into athletics. I think somewhat living a healthy lifestyle. I mean, we grew up in the 80s and 90s where unfortunately we grew up in kind of poverty families too, where it was refined carbs, tons of sugars. The little cupcakes were considered healthy back then. We just did the best we could with what we had. We're both very active and love being around athletic environments. But then as you move into adulthood, you got to start to make decisions that are going to affect you into your 20s and then your 30s and each decade, so forth. And coming out of the military too, because military, I think we can fake the funk for a long time, especially when you have that high metabolism. You can eat a whole pizza the night before and go out there and run a marathon and be just fine and play 5 basketball games or whatever it may be. But as you move into your 20s and your 30s, you got to start to make conscious decisions about what are you going to feel like the next day and into the next few years. And after I got out of the military, I started to see a lot of things change. My body started to, getting sober was a big one. That was where Jolene and I both kind of started a big health journey was, all right, let's get the garbage out of our life, because it's really easy to start putting garbage into your life and drugs, alcohol, frivolous stuff. But once we got that out, then we're like, okay, we got to actually really dial this in, because then we were moving into our 30s and we were like, holy cow, man, like you actually got to be disciplined with this stuff. You can't just go out there and eat a ton of garbage and expect great results. We did a bunch of research, we did a bunch of knowledge, got around the right people who were very educated in those areas, because I don't believe you should just take that mask as symptom to get another symptom to get another symptom. You should go out there and figure like what's wrong to the core. So I started to get in the gym industry. You can have higher energy levels and different stuff. I'm not a nutrition specialist. I'm not a doctor. I just know how to work my body. And I think that's a journey for everybody. Unfortunately, in our society, especially in the business world and in the marketing world, somebody can have this program that is going to cure all for every person, and that's not the case. All of us are made very different. We got to find out what works, what doesn't work. It's a lot of trial and error, but you got to go on that journey with somebody and be willing to kind of humble ourselves and submit ourselves to going, okay, I can start to do that, pursuing the things maybe that we don't want to do on a day-to-day basis in order to get a different result. One of the coolest phrases I heard in a nutrition course I took years ago, back when I was in the gym world, food was originally created as an energy source because it was scarce. You might only eat once a week or something like that. So food's an energy source, not a luxury. In this day and age, we've made it a luxury. It's big on community. Think about it. People gather around the kitchen more. Holidays, we overengorge, all these different things, where really our body just needs a certain amount to be able to navigate on a day-to-day basis and do the cool things. But anyway, so we went on a crazy health journey to figure all that out, because too, we want to live long. We want to be able to do all the fun stuff that we want to do. I mean, still be a beast in the gym, still be able to play sports, still be able to have fun, running, jumping, all these things into our older years, even though we're not old. You're not old at all, okay? It's a mental thing, I get that, but also your body starts to tell you some things, starting to figure those out, and then how you can utilize it to promote different things. I think that's a big one that most people never realize is we're all walking, talking billboards. If you have the ability to get around something healthier, man, you're going to share that with anybody and everybody. Jolene and I love being able to help people with that journey. And that's where you go back to that sobriety piece, is helping people really find their health. And I'm looking at it in my age demographic right now. I see a ton of people where they've let themselves go. And you're going, man, it's just a couple decisions. Getting overweight doesn't happen overnight. It happened over time. Well, just like getting in shape, it doesn't happen overnight, it happens over time, but it's a lot easier to maintain than it is to get there. So let's just learn how to maintain it, let's learn how to develop it, and then let's learn how to promote it. I believe we can live a lot healthier lifestyle as a society if we just start to share some things, and then we're willing to humble ourselves and stop making the norm, school lunches, cereals in the morning, all that stuff that we were programmed with, maybe change up a few things. So wasn't it funny, we were talking the other day, it was like a sugary cereal when we were kids was pitched to us as like the healthy alternative compared to like a fried egg. This day and age, fried eggs last a lot longer in our body than, obviously it's more something natural.
Yeah, I think our journeys of getting healthy, very similar.
Yeah.
We grew up in the 80s. We actually, both of us did not have televisions. So it wasn't like we sat and watched TV. We were outside all the time. I mean, I can remember we'd leave the house at 8 a.m. You'd come back when it got dark. Maybe you checked in for lunch just to get a snack. I do have to disagree though. My mom was always very, even though we didn't have a lot of money, we had a meat, a vegetable, and a starch every night for dinner. And not that that's necessarily the healthiest, but I did learn just kind of eating well and well-balanced meals. So I
came a lot from your grandparents though too. Like you've done that for a long time.
Yeah, it did. I kind of grew up with that concept. Then moving into middle school, I was about this big around. I see pictures of myself and it was so skinny, but I started to play sports because we were in a small school. There wasn't a lot of extracurricular stuff. So I started to play sports, played multiple sports throughout high school. Then, of course, in college, I went into ROTC. So fitness has always been a big part of my life. But like Jake said, it's interesting the different eras of life and how sports are different, right? We always joke, it's like when you're in high school, you can get your arm ripped off in a basketball game and the next day it grows back, right? Like you're like invincible when you're a kid, right?
That's funny.
And then it was like we got into our 30s and you just start to see some changes. But really, as we got into our 40s, that was where we've seen more changes. And so I think it's neat to watch even as fitness has changed. And I would say in my 30s, I wasn't as worried about it. I think because coming out of my 20s when your metabolism's amazing and like you said, you can eat a pizza, run a marathon the next day, it all works out. Going into my 30s, I wasn't as worried about it. And then late 30s, I started to think more about it. I hate the statement of pursue your passion, you'll never work a day in your life. I think it's about pursuing the thing that creates the lifestyle that you want and then pursuing that so you can have the life you want. However, if you can find something that's important to you that you're able to build a business around, that's huge, right? And it was right around our early 30s that we started to build even different businesses coming out of construction and the gyms and things like that. Actually, when you owned the gym, he was in the worst shape of his life, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah, worst way to kill a hobby is make it your job.
But I always tell people, like, we entered into this phase of life where health has always been important to us. I think if you're gonna be one of those people who go, I mean, anybody, it doesn't even have to be the person who goes, but if you're gonna go, you have to have some health in your life. You've got to take care of your body. You've got to eat right. You've got to work out. Then finding something that we could build around that, because like you said, like we're walking billboards of what we do. If I'm super passionate about video games, I'm going to tend to talk to people about video games. If I'm super passionate about Volkswagens, I'm going to talk to people about Volkswagens, right? Like, so for us, because nutrition's always been a big part of our life and just striving to be healthy, it's easier for us to talk about things like that, right? And I heard a stat, 7 out of 10 millennials actually want to build something for themselves. And the most popular industry right now is e-commerce. And when you think about that, you go, well, okay, we like health. We like to do these things. How do we make that into something? And I think for people, they're trying to figure out how to take something maybe that they like, that they do enjoy, that they know they're going to talk about, and turning it into a business. And that's really what we have been able to do, is just taking something that we're passionate about and turning it into a business, right? And
I think we're terrified to like invest in ourselves because we go, well, it costs a lot of money to eat healthier. And I go, actually, it doesn't. If you look at even like a good budget, obviously being aware of a few things, supplementation, all those would play a role for sure. But it's not as expensive as we think. I mean, it's the same person that says it's expensive to eat healthy, but then they buy a $5 Frappa Whipple every morning. That thing's gonna get you a result, and this thing's gonna get you a result. When I used to really coach people in health and nutrition and fitness, you really gotta get that willingness to change. And it's a great quote. It goes, people wanna change their life without changing their life. Well, you can't have a fit body with bad habits. You can't have a millionaire bank account with a minimum wage work ethic. And so they all play and coincide in the sense of discipline. There's a coin phrase going around the world really where it's discipline equals freedom. And if you can be disciplined with your health, down the road, you're gonna have a lot of freeing decisions. You're probably not gonna end up in a facility of some sort because you're now gonna have like long-term care because you were willing to invest in your body, invest in your mind, invest in your prevention side instead of the repair side. We'd rather put tons of time and money into figuring those things out so that this can stay strong, and be able to do the things that we want to do and navigate the things that we want to. And that discipline, man, it shows such a great characteristic for our little girl because we want her to be able to adopt those methods, and then our communities. I'd rather build a community around playing sports or having fun or being out in the outdoors. I mean, we live in one of the most beautiful states and very few of us capitalize on it. And then all the things we could do and stuff, but instead of just sitting there mindlessly, nobody's gonna look back on their life and go, man, I wish I would have scrolled more social media. I think we're all gonna go, I wish I would have gotten out more. I wish I would have done more. I wish I would have been able to do those 20 pull-ups. I wish I would have been able to run that marathon. I wish I would have been able to do, just go try it. But you gotta start training, you gotta start growing, you gotta start developing your mind and your body to get a little more disciplined and a little more dedicated. And it's so much easier when you're around a community. If there was something that I loved about being in sports and the military, is you were never anywhere by yourself. It was always, you had somebody with you, you always had somebody you're going with, in a way competing, but also completing each other. And everybody's gonna work harder when they're pushing out. Like, granted, do I believe you should be able to push yourself eventually? Absolutely. All these things are huge, but you just gotta make those decisions to go, this is who I am now. It's not about a diet fad, it's about I'm living a healthier life. It's not about a fitness fad, it's I'm identifying as a fit person. And once you kind of identify as those, and that's who you are and it's what you become, and everything starts to thrive, and you can monetize that, you can grow that. It's actually quite simple, especially when you connect with the right people. Reach out. We'd love to connect with you in any way, shape, or form. I mean, you can always subscribe, you can click, you can connect. We are here to help in any way, shape, or form. I will open up tons of doors. Do you want to go grab a workout in the park, man? I'm your guy.